Okay, I've been dreading recording this video. I've put it off for a while, because talking about something that is still so personal is not easy. And sharing the parts of yourself that you are still working on is hard. But I'd promised myself to be honest here, so here it is. I've put on 3 kilograms, again. And I honestly caught myself thinking, will I ever be able to stay at my ideal weight? I don't know. But I know that I am trying, and maybe I'm trying too hard sometimes, because when I'm caught up in this idea of losing weight, I forget to enjoy the world around me. This video is not about one of those, oh look at me, I've made it and I want to share my success stories. No. I am here to share the story of how I lost 15 kilograms, put some of it back, and now I am in the process of losing these 3 kilograms yet again. I will leave out the judgment of the number itself, because I know for some of us 3 kilos might sound like a lot, for some of us it might sound like nothing. It doesn't really matter. For me, it means that I am no longer able to fit into some of the new clothes that I bought recently, and also I am farther away from the goal that I set to myself than I was before. But I'm not giving up, because I know that this can be my success story. And not because I've hit the number on the scale, but mainly because I've learned all the lessons that I needed along the way. Here is what's been happening. I'm 40 now. And let's face it, weight loss changes with age. It was a lot easier for me to shift a few kilos when I was in my 20s. But I started to notice the change in my 30s. And now that I'm 40, I've had to learn to understand my body a lot better. And I want to appreciate it for everything that it does for me, and stop punishing it with extreme diets and self-hate. I still find myself battling with negative thoughts about my body. It's not something that would magically go away with time or weight loss, but I've come a long way comparing to where I used to be. There was a time when the way I spoke to myself in my own head was just plain cruel. I would tell myself that I was not disciplined enough, not strong enough, not determined enough, simply not good enough. And this way, the weight loss goal became the center of everything. It affected everything that I did. It affected how I would show up at work, how I would show up in my relationships, and basically if I was failing at my weight loss goal, it almost meant for me that I was failing at life, full stop. It was not this balanced approach where you would think, okay, I am working on my weight loss here, and this is one part of my life, and then I am able to enjoy the rest of my life. No. If the weight loss is not happening, then I am not able to be happy at any other part of my life. Now, I won't say that those thoughts are gone. They still show up, but I learned to recognize them for what they are. They are just thoughts, and if I don't give them fuel, they are not going to grow. I started catching myself when I slip into this all or nothing mindset. You know, when a couple of kilos up on the scale would mean that I would completely tear myself apart. Whilst now I think, okay, this happened. I know why this happened, because maybe I was traveling, maybe I had more nights out than usual. But I've been here before, and I know how to get back on track, and I will. It's no longer about being perfect, but more so about being gentle with myself. Because the truth is that I am the only person who's been putting all this pressure on myself. And maybe it's time I finally gave myself a break. One of the biggest shifts for me has been the way I speak about my goals, the actual language I use, and also the way I think about my progress. Back in the day, I used to say to myself, look, I want to weigh 60 kilograms by summer. It was always about that number on the scale, always about this fixed outcome. Whilst now, my mindset is different. I would say things like, I want to improve my eating habits by summer. That might mean choosing more nutritious meals, or maybe reducing my snack cravings, or just being more mindful with food. It's always been the way how I approached exercise, not with rigid outcomes, but mainly with habits. I would say to myself things like, okay, I want to go to the gym 5 times a week, or I want to attend 3 aerial classes per week. But somehow it always made sense when it came to movement. But with food, for some reason, it was always about the number on the scale and not my actual behavior. So I changed that. Now, when I notice that my weight is creeping up, I stop and reflect, instead of spiraling into that negativity. I ask myself, what's been going on lately? Maybe I've been eating out too much, or maybe there were too many chocolates, because that's a weakness of mine and I know about it. But instead of punishing myself, I would gently ask, what can I shift in my routine? What would feel good and sustainable? And no, it's not about banning all the treats from my house, not about locking the fridge, and not about counting every single calorie. Because I've tried these approaches in the past and they never worked. Now it's more about planning meals ahead of time, thinking about my macros, paying attention to my protein intake, and maybe allowing myself little indulgences here and there. And most importantly, I try to listen to my body, as cliche as it sounds. Because after all ups and downs, I genuinely noticed that I feel a lot better when I eat well. My digestion is lighter, my sugar cravings almost fade away, and my mood naturally lifts. And then when I feel emotionally better, I am much kinder to myself. And funny enough, this is the point when my weight starts going into the direction I want it to go. So in the end, it really is a cycle. And whether you end up in a negative or a positive one is up to you. That's something that you really can influence. I now choose to work with my body, not against it. I pause and notice what I'm thinking instead of letting those negative thoughts run the show. And I approach this whole journey with patience and presence. So, I still have got those 3 kilos to lose, but I am not overwhelmed by it anymore, and I am not spiraling into negativity. I am simply doing all the work, using all the lessons that I learned that helped me lose weight in the past. Only this time with more kindness, more understanding, and a lot less pressure. This journey is not finished, but it's real, and it's mine. And if you're on a similar path, just know that you are not alone. Let's keep going, let's keep learning and adjusting, and most of all, let's keep showing up for ourselves. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Lie down, down, boy down. Good boy.